Ah, sweet Paris, the city of baguettes, of Eiffel Towers, and of outdoor cafes. Little did we know, though, that it would also be a city of rebirth. Not for civilization, but for the Walt Disney Company, actually.
Tonight, the world of Walt Disney comes alive here in Europe. Live from Paris, we celebrate the creation of a new magical kingdom. With the grand opening of Eurodis.
And it went about as well as you might have heard. But over the years, Euro Disneyland, or as it's known now, Disneyland Paris, has had sort of a resurgence. Gone are the awkward budget parks of Michael Eisner's day, and now the real Disneyland quality we all know from the American parks and Tokyo is now present in Paris. And just like all the other parks all over the world, Disneyland Paris has its own quirks and unique little secret things that you can find there that you can't find anywhere else in the world. Because Paris deals so much with the Frenchanization of Americana, I just made that up, that's gonna be trademarked here soon, hopefully. There are details and secrets in places like Main Street USA and Frontierland, the places that rely on the American nostalgia. Nostalgia that the French themselves may or may not have, and if you're lucky, there may even be a few callbacks to Walt Disney himself and Disneyland. And so, without yammering on too long, here are some details and secrets you never noticed at Disneyland Paris. Before we get started, I want to show you guys this quick clip of a Travel Channel documentary on Disneyland Paris and how not to advertise a theme park.
This ride will have you begging for less time after time. 1 minute 45 of thrills that feel like a lifetime when you're on it.
I don't like it. You do a hoop to hoop backwards.
Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it was one of the worst things I've ever been on. I can't believe Disney keeps getting away with this. Wait, this isn't going to be in the TV show, is it? But enough about that. Main Street USA, the birthplace of Disneyland, the place where it all starts. What are we talking about today on Main Street USA at Disneyland Paris? Well, tell me right now, does this spot look a little different than it is at Disneyland? Is there something weird here? If you're thinking to yourself, why is there a gazebo in the middle of town square where there should be a flagpole? Well, you would be very observant, and you would have found our first detail in Disneyland Paris. See, the story of this gazebo, or bandstand, whatever you want to call it, dates back to the early days of Disneyland. Originally, Walt wanted to have a bandstand right in the middle of town square for shows and band performances, of course, similar to what you'd find in turn-of-the-century towns like Marceline, Missouri, where Walt grew up. And as Disneyland neared opening, the bandstand was constructed and placed right smack dab in the middle of town square. But as the park got closer and closer to opening, Walt and the other Imagineers noticed that it kind of blocked the view of Sleeping Beauty Castle when you enter the park at first. And so, in order to not obstruct the icon of Walt Disney's brand new park, they moved it down Main Street to the hub just to the left of the castle. But if you were to go looking for this piece of Disneyland history today, you wouldn't be able to find it, because in order to make room for an upcoming Jungle Cruise expansion, the Magnolia Park bandstand was removed completely. But if you're in California, you can still find it at Rogers Gardens in Corona del Mar, a piece of Disneyland history for anybody to enjoy outside of the parks. But how does this relate to Disneyland Paris? Well, in Disneyland, when they moved the bandstand further down Main Street, they put a flagpole in its place. And Imagineers knew it wouldn't be super appropriate to have an American flag flying super high right in the smack dab center of town square. So they decided to fly the American flags from the tops of the buildings on Main Street and right in the center of town square as a throwback to Walt Disney's original plan for Disneyland. You'll find the bandstand. A small detail and nod to the original Disneyland all the way across the pond in Europe. Moving on from Main Street now, we go to my favorite place in the park, Phantom Manor. I mean, I've never actually been there, but I assume it's cool. It essentially has its own mini land in Paris, sort of similar to Pirates of the Caribbean in Orlando. And details abound here, guys, let me tell you. But this one is going to be another detail that refers back to the original Disneyland in Anaheim. I know, I love it. I love it too. If you ever find yourself at Disneyland Paris, walking past Phantom Manor late at night, all alone, and you look up at the foreboding mansion that stands before you, look up to the attic window, specifically. If you're patient and you stand there for long enough, you may see the curtains part and a face peek out. The Phantom himself will sometimes take a peek out the window to look over Frontierland every now and then, and this, of course, is an homage to the classic gag of the evil queen watching over Fantasyland at Disneyland and Disney World, but that's gone and we don't talk about it anymore. And a while ago, you may remember I made a video about the moving candle or moving light up on the second floor of the Haunted Mansion at both Disneyland and Disney World, an effect that, for the most part, unfortunately now no longer works. But over in Paris, at night, you may be able to catch Melanie Ravenswood's candle traveling through different windows in the mansion. I can't seem to find a picture or video of this happening, but it does happen, trust me. If you guys have any proof, please be sure to let me know. Before we leave Phantom Manor though, there is one more detail, or mass of details, that I want to talk about that not a whole lot of people seem to experience. When exiting the attraction, guests have the opportunity to either go right back to Frontierland or turn left and go to Boot Hill. Now, there's not a gift shop or restaurants over at Boot Hill, but there are so many graves and cool little things to look at, see, and experience. Like right here, the graves of Henry Ravenswood and his wife, Martha. Henry Ravenswood, also known as the Phantom, from, you know, the Phantom Manor. So if you're interested in seeing the final resting place of the Phantom himself, Boot Hill is the place for you. But there is also one more grave I want to talk about that is unmarked, but it's very, very interesting. A sarcophagus draped in black stone linens or something in the very corner of Boot Hill. That, when you press your hand up against the casket, emanates the sound and rhythmic pulse of a beating heart. Now, beating heart, ghost bride, haunted mansion attraction, you may be putting the pieces together and you're not the only one. This is the only unmarked grave at Boot Hill. Is it the grave of Melanie Ravenswood? I'm not too sure. See, the story in Phantom Manor can be a little inconsistent when it comes to Melanie's character. Is she still wandering the halls looking for her dead husband? Is she a ghost who follows you home at the end of the new version of Phantom Manor? She looks pretty alive at the beginning. I'm not really sure whether she's dead or alive, but if she were dead, wouldn't she be buried next to her parents? Why is this grave separate? And why does it have a beating heart? She sort of has one if you meet her as a meet and greet character, but in the actual attraction itself, not really. And what other person do we know of in Haunted Mansion mythos with a beating heart? Constance Hatchaway. And of course, when Phantom Manor opened in 1992, Constance was not in the attic, but instead, it was the Beating Heart Bride. Now, is this the tomb of the Beating Heart Bride from the Haunted Mansion? Or more likely, is this an homage to the character that you can now no longer find anywhere in the world except for Tokyo? I like when Disney leaves things open-ended when it comes to attractions. Do you think this was Melanie's grave or the Beating Heart Bride's grave or completely unrelated? Please let me know. Let me know what you think, because I am very curious too. Now, our fourth-ish detail, what number are we on now? Like 27? Has to do with the beautiful, one-of-a-kind Sleeping Beauty castle at Paris. Now, just looking at this thing, you can tell it is very much inspired by the movie Sleeping Beauty, and the wonderful square Ivan Earl trees really help complete the look, I think. Of course, underneath it you have the dragon, but we are not looking down for this detail. Instead, we are going to be looking up toward the golden spires of the castle. You see, the golden spires of Disney castles all over the world usually have these little, like, nubs on them. What would you call these? Spire balls, maybe? Spire nubs? Spire circles? I don't know. And that's true for Sleeping Beauty Castle in Paris as well. It also has the spire nubs, but look a little bit closer and you might be surprised. Something's very strange about these nubs. Why, if my eyes aren't deceiving me, they're not nubs at all. These are snails on the castle. As far as I know, this is a, for lack of a better European term, cheeky joke by the American Imagineers poking fun at the French culture and snails because the French are known for their escargot. They eat snails. Not me, though. I do not. A very strange but fun detail you can only find at Paris. Nowhere else in the world has snails on their castle. Believe me, I looked. And now it's time for our fifth and last detail, but this one is not going to be at Disneyland Paris Park proper. Nope, we're going across the street to the Walt Disney Studios Park where the original California Tower of Terror still sits to this very day. But we will not be embarking on the Tower of Terror today. Instead, we're going over to a ride that's coming to Epcot very soon, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, but we're staying outside. This area is beautifully themed to the streets of Paris, and in front of the entrance to the queue, there is an amazing Remy Rat Fountain. Sorry, there's an amazing Ratatouille's Monster Fountain. And if you look down toward the middle, you'll see a series of carvings of rats running in different poses. That's because this fountain also doubles as a zoetrope. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the term, a zoetrope is a series of still images that, when spun very quickly, creates a very simple animation. You may be familiar with the old Toy Story zoetrope from California Adventure, or the ones you can find in the Sorcerer's Workshop at California Adventure. You can see here as the turntable begins to spin, all the characters seem to come to life. It looks like magic to me, but it's not magic, it's animation. Wait, hold on, not yet, it's just looking kind of blurry. Wait till the lights come on. Wait, oh, there it is. Look at that. How cool is that? Now back to rats though. If you want to see the Ratatouille zoetrope, you can do what Half Asleep Chris did here and take pictures of all the different rats at different angles and then play them back really quick, or you can just run around the fountain really fast, I guess, if you want. And what is this? The exact same fountain coming to Epcot when Remy's Ratatouille Adventure opens sometime soon? You mean I'll be able to see this fountain for myself without traveling across the Atlantic Ocean? I guess I have to rename this video now. 5 details you can find at Disneyland Paris, and also 1 you can find at Epcot. And those, everybody, are 5 details you may not have noticed at Disneyland Paris, and 1 at Epcot coming soon, but like I said, that's just for later. What did you think of this list? Did I leave any cool details out that you think I should have mentioned? Please let me know in the comments down below. And I feel like there are more details, more secrets to uncover in this park, so I might do a part 2 at some point in the future. And so when you're planning your next Disney trip, whether you want to go to Disneyland in Anaheim, California, Walt Disney World in Orlando, or Hong Kong Disney in Hong Kong, take a moment to think about old Mike Eisner's favorite park in Europe and all the sweet details it has that you can't find anywhere else. Sure, the Enchanted Storybook Castle may be the biggest Disney castle with an attraction running underneath it and through it, but does it have snails on top of it? No, I didn't think so. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for watching this video on some weird secret details and Easter eggs that you may not notice or you may not know about at Disneyland Paris. If you made it all the way to this end card, please leave the secret word mansion in your comment down below, just so I know who made it to the end of the video. All of the names that you currently see scrolling past you on your screen right now are the names of my Patreon supporters. These lovely people get early access to videos, audio, and sometimes entire videos, not just little sneak peeks. If these perks sound alluring to you, please be sure to head to the link in the description down below, and even just $1 gets you access to most of the perks. So a very big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, and let me give some shout outs here at the end card for some videos that I used in my video, just people who have wonderful amounts of footage and things that I can't really capture on my own because I can't go to Paris. Dan Deep Abraham, LMG Vids, of course, as always, a good friend of the channel, Big Daddy Shin, Foxy Hooves, Pleasure Gardens, and for the Ratatouille zoetrope, Half Asleep Chris. He has an amazing video on details of Disneyland Paris, talking about some things I didn't cover in this video, so if you want more of that, I'm going to link his channel in the description down below, as well as a little end card at the end of the video if you want to check it out. He's got some amazing stuff. And as a very special treat to the people who stuck around to the very end of this video, you may have noticed this last week I did a live stream and that it's no longer listed on my channel. That is also going to be listed in the description down below. I don't really want these things cluttering up the sub boxes of people who don't want to watch them because they are a smaller fraction of my channel, but for the people who do, I will link them in the video that I upload that same week, so you can go back and watch that week's or that month's live stream. I still don't know how often I'm gonna do it. So if you missed the live stream I did earlier this week, head down to the description. It will be down there and you can watch it to your heart's content. And that, I believe, is all the business I have for you guys this week. Thank you all so much for watching. Ring the bell, hit the subscribe button. You guys know what to do at this point. Thank you again, and I will see you all in the next video in March. Jeesh. Goodbye.